you know, we love to champion Eminem. Like he's not one of the system. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of Eminem, so I can't say anything too bad. I would love to see Eminem go fucking hard on something like Israel. I'd love to know what he could do. I'd love to collab with him and let him totally fucking wreck me, but at least the song's about Israel and whatnot. So, probably stumble across this title and you're like, what the fuck is Dybbuk? Dybbuk. I don't know how to say it. It's interesting. We'll look it up, don't worry. Hole in my lip. So, let's not waste any more time. We'll do this. DYBBUK. All right. So DYBBUK. Dybbuk. If it'll give me the pronunciation. The correct pronunciation.
Dybbuk. 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 Dybbuk.
God, you're stupid. Of course, someone named Simon is going to be like, again, like that kind of stupid. Right? He knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And he doesn't want you guys knowing about it. So he's hoping he can distract or dissuade in some way. But in Jewish mythology, Dybbuk, from the Hebrew verb Dybbuk, meaning adhere or cling, is a malicious possessing spirit believed to be the dislocated soul of a dead person. It supposedly leaves the host when it has accomplished its goal, sometimes after being exorcised. Again, somebody who thinks Down syndrome is a joke, if that's not a pedo, genocidal, disgusting child raper, I don't know who is. They can't help it. Like they what they think is burns, as rips. Most of us are like, ew, what's wrong with you? But it's because they have no real sense of any sort of morality or anything like that. They're just awful people. History. The first term appears in a number of 16th century writings. That's interesting. I always think it's weird when some sort of religious iconography isn't from the time. Again, notice I called this guy a fucking pedo. I straight up called him a pedo. He didn't deny it. That should tell you something. However, it was ignored by mainstream scholarship until S. A. Sky's 1920 play, The Dybbuk, popularized the concept in literary circles. So, I always think it's crazy when religious iconography it fits my narrative that Judaism and Hebrew were created in the 1800s. I wouldn't say 1900s, but in the 1800s. And this is even, this sort of leads to the 1900s with the 1920 thing. But I really don't think people understand. Like, I think it's all just, it's all just mind games and manipulation and shit. Earlier accounts of possession, such as that given by Josephus, were of demonic possession rather than that of ghosts. These accounts advocated orthodoxy among the populace as a preventative measure. Mikhail Wazinski's 1937 film, The Dybbuk, based on the Yiddish play by S. Anskai, is considered one of the classics of Yiddish filmmaking. Oh, well, we're all such big fans of Yiddish filmmaking. Rabbi Yoel Teitelbaum, the Satmar Rebbe, Satmar is a group of Hasidic Judaism founded in 1905 by Grand Rebbe Joel Teitelbaum, 1887 to 1979, in the city of, so who gives a fit, Hungary, in the city, whatever it's called, Satmar. In 1890s Hungary, the group is a branch of the Sighet Hasidic dynasty. Following World War II, it was established in New York and has since grown to become one of the world's largest Hasidic dynasties in the world, comprising of around about 26,000 households, making up a population of nearly 300,000. I mean, this is just like stupid. This proves this point that it's not nearly as old as you might want it to be. Which I'm sort of working on something right now. You know what I think is crazy? Sidebar. You ever watch those videos of like, somebody has a bullfrog and then they put a praying mantis in there, or they giant praying mantis, and they put a fucking spee-eiter in there. Poor ants. I'm sorry. Somebody left garbage. You ever watch those videos and what you'll notice is that 100% of the time, especially when it's something that's like an apex predator, like if you put a praying mantis in there with a scorpion, somehow the praying mantis knows that the scorpion's claws are dangerous as well as its tail. How do they always know how to fight each other? I mean, you can do that like across the board, where one species somehow knows how to fight the other one. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? I was thinking about this, and I know it's weird, and I feel like maybe I shouldn't even be presenting it yet. maybe when I do the reset, I'll present it. Let's stick with this. So this whole Setmar, the idea of it was founded in 1905. This is a group of Hasidic Jays founded in 1905. How does it even happen? How do new religious groups form in 1905? Yeah, shut up, stupid. I gave you the chance. You didn't want to, so now you can wait. Hey, bro, how's it going? It's going swell, thanks. How are you? I think there's some real connection that's happening. You know, when I go through my feed nowadays, it's like either the social media is not only, you know, it is like either social media is just pushing us like-minded Israel haters together, or there's a lot more people talking about this than there ever used to be. And that's what I think it is. I think it's a lot more people are talking. I mean, granted, it is designed to do that, but I still get random shit all the time. But the amount of you know, if I was one of the J rulers, I'd be pretty scared right now. You know? They've never faced anything like this, at least according to the history they give us. But there's never been an eruption of truth, an eruption of dissidence like this before. We've never been like, you know what, you're fucking disgusting, you know. And the thing is, the more that they continue to ignore the Israel problem, the more people are realizing it's not an Israel problem, it's a J problem. Did you see that thanks to Trump's newest bill, Israelis will have free health care and free retirement based on us? Like it's I think it's a lot more figuring it out. I do too. I mean, again, I think that it is going to do that, no doubt, but it's just amazing how many people are I say it's amazing, but it shouldn't be, because it's really obvious. What's amazing is how long it lasted. It is definitely a J problem. And it's not anti-Semitic, you stupid ass. Anti-Semitic would mean I hate the Palestinians, the Syrians, the Lebanese. No, you're talking about Semitism. And Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. That's it. There's no way around that. It's just what it means. It's supremacy, policy or predisposition. All of the rules and regulations, plus the way people go into it thinking, has to be favorable to this one group of people. If it's not, then you get called names, you get in trouble, all that. That's supremacy. That's supremacy. But what's interesting is how this Tartaria old world narrative is really sort of advancing, but that connection isn't yet being made. You know, the connection between the old world and the people who control the narrative today that tell us there is no old world. Question, is the American government the U.S. people? It's clearly not. And all one has to do is look into AIPAC. Should the U.S. people be held accountable for the U.S. government bombing Iran? Should the U.S. people be held accountable? Why would we be held accountable? We're just as much the victims as anyone else is. It's just different. You know, I mean, who's to say the level? I mean, obviously, what the Palestinians experience is way worse than what anybody else experiences. But as far as victims go, you know, as Americans, we have absolutely no say over it. We have no say over literally anything. Okay, then the Israeli government is not the J people. No, it is. It is. It was elected by the J people in an overwhelming majority. And we aren't like, ouch. It's just like how Trump isn't the real problem here in the United States. It's the Trump supporter that's the problem. You know, the one that remains blind regardless. This dude is directly associated with pedophilia. At the very, very least, which is laughable, he is he's guilty of cover-up. Palestine should be free. What does that mean, though? Do you know what that means? Palestine should be free? When has Palestine ever been free? Pre-2023? Pre-2006? Pre-1983? Pre-1967? Pre-1948? Pre-1919 or 16, whatever it was? Free Palestine is not the rally cry. It's just the one we're allowed to say. That's a phrase that's been allowed to be said. It used to not be allowed to be said. You used to not be allowed to say it, but now they've tolerated it. Because what do they want? Do they want us to say free Palestine, or do they want us to say end the J cult? So they'd much rather us say free Palestine. The real problem is people like you. Please tell me how. Palestine never exists. Yeah, okay. Palestine's existed for a long, long time. You Charlie Kirk supporters are goofy. Pot-smoking conspiracy theorists, stop putting this crap online. If you put it on, I have to watch it. I can't do any, I have to watch it, so stop putting it online. Please. This is the opportunity to correct what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, this is your opportunity to not only correct me, but correct anybody else who may see this and think the same way I do, which is a lot more people than you want to realize. Yeah, loser, it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Get a job. This is the best they can do. Oh, they just took it down. Humpty Dumpty hairline. Yo, okay. It doesn't. It's part of Jordan, Levant region in general. Yeah. Who gives a shit? Like, the idea of the system says it's a country when the state of Israel is the problem. Like, dude, you want to get involved in, you want to get distracted or distract other people with nonsense that doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter about, like, Palestine is just a word. Just like Israel is just a word. It's just a place. Palestine isn't people. Palestine doesn't think. Palestine doesn't feel. Israel doesn't think. Israel doesn't feel. This is just a location. I'm not worried about a location nearly as much as I'm worried about the psychopathic, pedophilic, genocidal pieces of shit that occupy that. Yep, homeless guy walking around in my neighborhood, in a neighborhood, just hanging out on my cell phone. That makes sense. Palestinians are now, what do you think they are? Because I am from the region. I am ex-Muslim atheist. Oh, yeah? Never met one of you before. An ex-Muslim, well, that's good. But who gives a shit what you say? I mean, for real. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what you want to know. And again, you want to get wrapped up in semantics and stupid bullshit. Again, I don't care necessarily what you call the place. I'm not real worried about what somebody wants to call it. If you care about submarines, go watch parts 1 through 9. Otherwise, try to stay on topic, okay? It's sort of a big boy topic, so let's try. Oh, you're not. I'm sorry, bruh. So, Y-O-U-R, not, he says, because he's super smart. And he's, sorry for... I was going to make fun of you for being a homeless guy, but now I can't, so I'm going to come up with something else. Really interesting how this works. I know more than you because I saw both sides. Sure you did. Sure you did. And we all know the people that are in the situation often see what's going on much better than the people outside looking in. I don't care. Great. You know, this is, we are being completely manipulated and distracted and duped, and it's such crazy bullshit. You know what? And I got to get back to the reading, because you know, I don't care. You don't hurt my feelings. I just like reading what you guys say and pointing out your stupidity. But as far as hurting my feelings goes, I'm good. You're not doing anything. Do something about it instead of bitching. Yes, you know what? Let me, a 46-year-old father of two, disabled 46-year-old father of two. God, I hate saying that. But let me just grab my M16, put on my red bandana, get some grenades and you know, big knife. Hop on a helicopter, the next helicopter I can catch, have it take me to Palestine, and then I'll fight my way through hordes of soldiers so I can take out Netanyahu. Right? That makes sense. That's what I should be doing instead of the grassroots stuff, talking about it, trying to sway the consciousness so we actually do something about it. Nah. No, I'm not dumb enough to be a military man. Yeah, it never happens. Never would happen. I don't like religious people in general, so I don't like Christians or Jews either. Well, that's good. At least you're on your way, man. But understand that, you know, it's these are the systems that are used against us. You know, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism are all three considered the Abrahamic religions, meaning they come from the same source. And that source is Abraham, the father of the Jewish people. But here, let me jump on board a helicopter. You know I can't do that on the other side. Can you? Do that on both sides? Doesn't work as well. And it's weird, I can do it on the left side. So that means the right side muscles are pushing where the left side muscles aren't as strong. I don't know. Strange though. More ways to fight than slinging bullets. So maybe like going live to talk about the things we're not supposed to be talking about and trying to unify the goyim is one of those ways. Maybe. Maybe. Understand that it's one of these weird things where, like, you know, as an individual, you're basically powerless. But considering that we outnumber them, so they only make up 0.183 of the world's population, 183%, and 2 to 3% of the United States population. We outnumber them, you know, exponentially. It's not even close. So yes, as an individual, your fight is very difficult. But as a one whole unit, they don't stand a chance. And that's, morning, that's what they care, that's what their whole thing is about, is preventing the unification of the Goyim. Preventing us from seeing ourselves as they see us. They don't say black Goyim, white Goyim, Mexican Goyim. We're all just Goyim. They see us as one unit. We should see ourselves as one unit. Sometimes you gotta get up, yeah. Dump Trump. Absolutely. But Trump is, I mean, seriously, the Trump is that great distraction. He doesn't do shit. He's nothing. Does anybody honestly think Trump's sitting around like, God damn it, I'm trying to balance the budget here and all these Epstein comments keep coming up? I'm sitting here going over the foreign policy, and I found that Article 22 4.g, Section G, line 22, I don't know if I necessarily like this line, and I'd like to think about it more, but these darn Epstein stuff just keeps coming up. Okay, let me get the grocery list. All right, avocados cost this much under Biden. I'm gonna cut off food prices, so let's say it costs this much now. Even though, you know, that never really happened. But do you really think that's what the president, or really any government official does? Like, do any of you think that you couldn't do the job of your local government official? You know, other than the child rape part of it and the dick sucking bits, who doesn't think they could sit at a desk for a few hours a day, maybe, while going out to the nicest places to eat all day and the country club and, you know, all the other shit that the average politician does? I mean, remember when Bernie Sanders got photographed in his fucking Iron Man Audi, the A4, whatever it was? They're all doing very well. And to think that Bernie Sanders isn't bought and paid for by Israel, you're fucking stupid. What does Goyim mean? Goyim means anything that isn't them. So, dogs, cats, chairs, tables, cars, us. Anything that isn't J is considered Goyim. And Goyim is there to service the J's. Goyim is the derogatory term for Gentile. I'm sorry, I should have said that I rely on what my wheel says. I have no idea what your wheel means. You're talking about some other kind of religious bullshit. You know, it's all just religious bullshit. It's all just distraction. You know, you're sitting here arguing over which sky daddy from 2,000 years ago is real. You're arguing, you know, well, Mercury is in retrograde and Venus is in my high house, and, you know, you're arguing over all of this shit that you have no idea where it comes from, who figured it out, any of that. And you're not talking about, like, so my wife belongs to a group, right? And they consider themselves witches, and, you know, they do pagan ritual stuff, and they're just this group of nerdy girls that hang out and make food for each other and do little goofy shit. And my wife is like really smart. My wife's smarter than me in most cases. But she subscribes to this stuff. And I asked her one day, and I was like, what you believe in is just distraction. She got all mad. But you just, you try to pay blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, let me just ask you this. The last time you were at your meeting of really smart, really capable, really creative and clever, tenacious people, her group, when was the last time you guys talked about the genocide happening? I mean, especially as witches. Shouldn't this huge amount of death that's being brought upon society be something that affects you guys? You feel it? Shouldn't that be a part of your thing? And I said, when was the last time you guys talked anything about that? And she said, never. And I said, so imagine if that same group of intelligent, capable, creative women got together and thought about, like, how can we bring attention to this? Do you think you would do great things? You think you would bring real attention to the thing? And she was like, well, yeah. And it's interesting too, because I almost think like I might have broken her a little bit, because she hasn't done it as much. She hasn't been as into that side of things in quite some time. And it's like, again, she's too smart for it. But we've got somebody that's identifying themselves better than church. I'm here. Do you mean I would, but YOUR. Anyone is smarter than him to carry the. This is why you're YOUR here listening. They probably just cry. Like, look at the guy who identifies as a J whatever piece of shit. They're not going to say anything against what I'm saying because they can't. Why do you think you haven't seen any videos of, intelligent J's dismantling arguments against what they do and believe, or even engaging in it? You'll find videos where you'll have like an Israeli representative, and they'll be talking to somebody on like Piers Morgan's show or whatever. But they never make any reasonable arguments. As a matter of fact, it's funny, I haven't seen many Piers Morgan clips coming through lately. What, did he get in trouble or something? Because he had even gotten to the point where he was like, look, you just keep blaming Hamas for everything. But that's not reasonable. That's not believable. Hey, JP is shit, bro. Are you actually mentally ill? Yes, I'm mentally ill because I don't accept your supremacy. Isn't that funny how that works? Like, they're so delusional. They're so brainwashed. They're so programmed that they honestly are shocked that any of the Goyim wouldn't just accept them as superior. Dude, you're mentally ill. You don't just believe that we are better than you. What's wrong with you? Have you not read the literature we give you? It's all the J's fault. It really is. And it will be, as long as you're willing to take that argument up. You're not going to find a level where they're not involved in something. And when you get to the highest level, biggest crimes, most influence, It's all J's. And the only truth, please wake up. I don't think I'm the only truth, but I am telling the truth. And I'm sure there are other people like me out there that you've never heard of because they're not allowed to have the numbers they should. If you're watching, please take 2 seconds to share the feed. Just click share and then click it on Facebook. And if you're scared that somebody's going to get mad at you, title it, "This Guy's Crazy, Come Tell Him So." Do something like that, but share it. Like, share, and sub. Do those things. Everybody says they help, so I assume they help. Like on a common sense level, they should help. The more interest the feed has, the more it should be pushed out there, but we know that's not necessarily true. Freedom of religion is an American right. That's true. Just like freedom of no religion. Hell yeah, Adolf. I hear you, my great-great-great-aunt honey, was born your wife. My aunt was ever born your wife. Like, literally, that's what you came up with. You were like, I'm going to get him, so let me say this really dumb nonsense. There's no such thing as racism in this regard. Jays are not a race. Get that out of your fucking head immediately. You can't convert to a race. You can't just, you might be able to, do all the black stereotype bullshit, but that doesn't make you black, no matter how much you might want to try or say you are. You'll always be a Mexican or a white guy or an Asian person. You can't change that. So claiming that the Jays are a race is fucking stupid. The painter, I show the time on my break at work. Right on, appreciate it. Don't forget to grab your free download so you can listen when you're not at work. www.the-bilderberg.com. It's free to download, and it's good. So go do that. If you want the link, it'll be in the description after the fact, or just go look at a previous video. It seems like if I adjust the description, the feed gets all fucked up, so I don't do it. There are more crazier people than you on live every day. Sure. When it collapsed, there's a dimension with him, and then the dark comes to light. How do you bleach your skin and your hair? Wouldn't you be like, well, yeah, because that's true. That's something that can happen. You're still not white, dumbass. The Zog machine has a wrench in it. Hey, praise the robot. What happens in the dark comes to light. Duh, why can't you change race? Duh. Can't change your DNA because I know I can change my skin color. Yeah, sure you can. Please, all the dumb white people on here right now that are trying to make this argument, please make the video of you changing yourself to black. Put a bunch of melanin in your skin. I want to see the melanin injections. And I want to see how well it takes. And I want to see, you get the stereotypical features. Your lips get fuller. You get them fast twitch muscles and shit. Your penis grows. I'd love to see that happen. A bong, yes, this is clearly a bong. Can you change from a man to a girl? I mean, yeah, not like biologically, but you can live your life that way, and you can actually take a lot of hormones and shit that'll change you physiologically. But to me, I mean, that's one of those great distractions that it's fascinating. It's fascinating how many people have an opinion on how people choose to live their lives, and yet, have nothing to say about the pedo church they belong to. Deny all the racism that comes up. Ignore the genocide, ignoring the pedophilia all throughout Hollywood and shit. There are all these things out there that are negatives, that affect things in a negative way. Two dudes banging each other's buttholes doesn't affect me in the slightest, nor do I care. A dude dressing up like a chick doesn't bother me at all. Do I think he's a woman? No. Do I think she's a woman? No. Am I cool calling her a she? Yeah. But to make the argument that she's a woman, that's stupid. But this opens up an entirely different conversation and an entirely different, distraction, because that's really all it is. It's just another distraction. I saw the glory. I don't even change your race, bro. I'm saying there are many contradictions nowadays. What? Hey, at the end of the day, arrogance is the backbone of everything. For you to think that because you don't like for me personally, I think that me being gay is fucking disgusting. That is fucking gross. The idea of me touching other dicks is disgusting. Just like if you get a gay guy and you ask him about touching vaginas, he's gonna be like, ew, gross. Ew, I have nothing to do with that. Right? Do I think you shouldn't be allowed to touch dicks? Go right the fuck ahead. What do I care? How I feel about your life doesn't matter. How you feel about other people's lives doesn't matter. Now, oh, lovely. Look at that. It's almost north to south, too. We don't usually get those. However, if your predilection is to fuck with children or fuck with people against their will, well, that's a whole different story. And not everything is simple black and white. It's this or it's that. It's not. There are nuances. There are options. There's all sorts of shit that's involved in that. I think dudes that are trans and live their lives as women, they're something else. They're not a man. They're not a woman. They're another thing. And because we don't live in a society that's cool like that, you're not a Christian or a Muslim, you're a Protestant. We adjust for that kind of shit. But, we're so quick to use our bigotry to justify our ignorance, our insecurity, our stupidity. There's that one German chick with the who, she changed to black. No, she didn't. You're hitting a bong and wanting us to think you make sense. Nope. Hey, dude, if you're looking for the excuse, if you're looking for the way out, you'll find it. If I'm so compromised by the bong that I'm hitting, you should be able to just wreck me then, right? Your argument should be much better than anything I can say. Right? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong with it. It's just their way of, it's just the excuse. Look at that. Haven't seen the pretty halo in a long time. Don't worry, that's totally normal. That's a totally normal, natural halo forming in the sky. Only two genders, says some dumb white guy. So, bro, he says, bro what? Not just so what, bro what? So many Christians to bring light to those issues. A real Christian doesn't judge or hate, meaning gay people and trans. and the Christian and the real Christian spreads the word of God with love and truth. Guess you don't know the word of God very well, do you? Because the word of God isn't all about love and truth. The word of God is about oppression and submission. The state I live in doesn't have illegal marijuana, so when I visit friends in other states, I freak out when they smoke a joint on the street. That's funny. I mean, I did this long before it was legal. I didn't much care. Why smoke pot? Can't stand the person you are? Must be miserable. Says the person who comes to a feed to talk shit and troll. Who's not smart enough to engage in the conversation. Who doesn't think we should kill pedos and stop genocide. Yep. It has nothing to do with the injuries that I have. No. No, I just smoke because, you know, I hate myself so much. What do you think about someone who drinks? Terrible. Alcohol is poison. Alcohol is straight up poison. You being drunk is your body fighting off being poisoned to death. I bet you all drink. Pot don't make you stupid, unlike alcohol. Pot accentuates the person you are. If you are stupid, pot will make you stupid. More stupid. If you're inquisitive, pot will make you more inquisitive. If you're funny, pot will make you funny. The truth is black and white. Truth is either truth or false. Again, look at the arrogance coming through. Right? What level do you say the truth is? This black and white level. Like, is it true that we all should have individual rights and your bullshit shouldn't affect my life? Is that true? Or do we draw the, we say that's true unless somebody wants to dress as a woman, then your opinion of them should outweigh their opinion of themselves, right? Like, where's your truth lines? You think there's more than two genders? Yes, I think there's a wide range of identities. Are you talking about like genders specifically? Yeah, there are, you know, there's male and female. But guess what? There's also hermaphrodites that are born with both. So what gender are they? Dude, read the Bible before you speak on it. Oh, I love it. No, no, the thing is, all the people that don't like agree with the Bible and they're not, it's because they haven't read the Bible. It's not because they've read a bunch of it and they think, wow, this is fucking stupid, this doesn't make sense. The reason people don't believe in the Bible is simply because they haven't read it.
Or they've had it read to them.
No, this person is saying that then they say this all the time. The reason I am the way I am is because I haven't read the Bible. You know me, I've never read any of that shit.
Get them started.
Well, the funniest thing is, like, if you are so well read and you know it, why don't you just say which parts in it are true? Why do you have to hide behind obfuscation and just go straight for the fucking jugular, right? Tell us which parts of the Bible are true. Tell us what I'm wrong about. And it's funny too how, like, again, so many people can get in on this gender conversation where their arrogance steps in, and because they don't like gay stuff or they're not comfortable. I think a lot of people are either closet gay or they're really, really jealous of, they're this white dude, got a decent job, got an average penis, average looking, whatever, and yet they're insecure as all fucking hell. They can't be who they are. Yet they see these gay guys who are supposed to be, ashamed of themselves and living in the closet and shit. And these gay guys are walking around all fabulous. They walk around with a confidence, with a security that you don't have. And of course, there's all the people that claim gay, trans is some sort of choice. And you know what? I agree with you. I do. For you, it's obviously a choice. You obviously have a bunch of gay stuff and trans stuff in your head that you choose not to act on. Again, for me personally, I think me being gay is really gross. So there is no choice there. I couldn't choose it if I wanted to, and I do want to. It'd be great if I could be gay. 2 incomes, 2 male sex drives, 2, of everything that makes being a dude better. Other than that hairy cock part, balls and all that other shit, ugh. Like, that sounds fantastic. Just, there's the balls and dick and dude part. Dudes are gross. But again, for you, I guess, it's a choice you make, and I get it. I just feel really bad for you. Because I would imagine that's a level of hell that I'm not familiar with. To be something and be so ashamed of yourself that you attack the people that are the same thing openly. That's crazy. And here we go. Now somebody's gonna give me my logic. And by your logic, if I could change from boy to girl, then I could change my race. How do you figure? Again, I don't even know what you're talking about. What hormones can you take to make you go from male to female, or from Eskimo to fucking Scandinavian? What surgery can you get to make you go from Mexican to Scandinavian? To go from, black African people to Scandinavian? What surgeries, what hormones, what anything can you take to make that transition happen? By your logic. While you are saying you can change your DNA, but you can do things like take hormones, and by your logic, who are you to say my race? What? Look at what a girl this is. Right? You're saying dudes can't be girls. Listen to you. You sound like a goofy girl. You can't make a reasonable argument, so you're saying dumb shit. I get it. But again, notice how I actually address the things being said instead of hiding behind ignorance and insecurity. 3, there are natural hermaphrodites. Right. Why are you coughing real hard? I love when people act like weed doesn't make people cough. It'd be one thing if I wasn't smoking and I was coughing like crazy. That'd be one thing, but you make a lot of blanket statements that you don't know. There's one of those blanket statements. Instead of saying an example of the blanket statements that I don't know, I guess, you just make the blanket statement that I do it. That's what a blanket statement is. Not making specific accusations. Pay attention. That would be like saying people born with 2 heads are aliens. Why would that be like that? First of all, very, very few people are born with 2 heads. But secondly, why does it have to be that would make you an alien? Where does that logic even come in? It's a mutation. It's a mutation. It's not just an option. It's not just a way that we are that's always been here. There's always been gay. There's always been trans. It's a mutation. It's so stupid. If it was a mutation like how Down syndrome is a mutation, And it doesn't matter what color they are, what their family looks like, what their family, genetics are. All Down syndrome people look the same. They might have different skin colors, but they have very similar facial features. For some reason, that mutation causes their facial features to change. But see, this is all like, to me, it's always interesting how many people have way more to say about some guy living in a dress that lives and wears a dress than they do about the genocide that's taking place right now, than they do about their chosen slave masters. Like, it's so interesting how arrogant people are. You literally have no reasonable reason to have any sort of hatred or anything towards this. And yet you have, lots of it. Lots and lots of it. Are you bi-gender? Is that why you brought it up? Yep, that's what I am. You style live feed and act like you have all the answers, yet we are the arrogant ones. You're like, I do. I sit here and act like I have all the answers. Like, when people say that shit, it really, like, they don't realize it, but it really does tell me the high opinion they have of me. Right? Because at no place do I act like I have all the answers. Do I say I have all the answers? But for you to put that on me means you think I have all the answers and you just don't like it. I can answer every dumbass thing you can bring up because you're a dumbass. But if you want to start talking about, like, what what the main export out of Tanzania is, I have no idea. You want to talk about the, how you square a circle and the circumference of the diameter of the thingamajigger-bligger? I don't fucking know that shit. I'm decent at low-level math, but as soon as you get up into the highs, I'm going to bow out. Might not be the best speller. I do know my yours and theirs and shit like that. And twos, I know those things. You want to talk about the population count of Antarctica? I don't know. There are plenty of things. You want to talk about who the best ballet dancer in the world is? I have no idea. You want to talk about sports outside of, like, the top 10 players? I have no idea what you're talking about. There are plenty of answers I don't have. But I do know when I come on here and I talk about all this stuff that we're supposed to think and believe, nobody ever tells me what I'm wrong about. There's lots of crybabies like Blaine. Blaine. Oh, what a terrible name. You know what that is? That's been imprinted on me from childhood, when In Living Color was such a huge part of our lives. And Blaine was one of the men on film. 2 snaps in a Z formation, 3 snaps in a Z formation. Blaine. And then there's that guy from Love After Lockup, or Life After Lockup, whatever. Blaine, the guy that, I swear, he's not balding. He's not balding, you're balding. They haven't been fabulous since the 90s. You don't know gay people. It's a deformation. Ooh, a mutation implies genetics. Ooh, it's a deformation. They're a deformity. Yet, what about the people who like to fuck feet? Apparently, there are a lot of feet fuckers out there. For some reason, lots of porn nowadays has a foot part. There's a part where feet get fucked. And to me, that's just fucking gross and weird. As a matter of fact, I'm more likely to think something's wrong with you if you fuck feet than I am if you're gay or trans or whatever. Yet because there's no like identifiers, you know, people don't walk around with a certain walk or a certain tone in their voice or a certain look that says they're a foot fucker. Well, we don't know that shit. Should we outlaw feet fucking because it's not normal? No. Do I think people shouldn't be allowed to fuck feet? Nope. Go ahead, fuck all the feet you want. It's still gross. But this is, you know, it's like you just don't get that, right? That's just part of your head that doesn't work correctly. You know? And the thing is, like, you want to talk about like mental illness. The vast majority of you believe that there's a dude up there, an all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, God of all gods, you know, breathes life into babies, puts AIDS into babies, you know, kills babies. Like, there's this God that does all this shit, and he's constantly making mistakes. You know? It must be because he's so busy, he forgets to flip the straight switch. Maybe we're all gay until the straight switch is flipped. And sometimes God forgets to flip that switch. It's like circumcision, right? Why does God insist that we torture, we traumatize children, Goyim children, within hours of being born? At least the Jays are smart enough to wait 8 days to do it. But the Goyim, we mutilate our children within hours of them being born. It's one of their first fucking experiences as a human being, is to be traumatized on a level that we can't even wrap our heads around. We cannot imagine what kind of damage that's doing. And the only reason they normalize it among us is to make their ritual where they suck on it, to normalize that so they can do their thing. When people talk about they were kicked out of 109 countries in the last 1,000 years or whatever, nobody talks about why. One of the main reasons is the insistence on the cutty, slicey, sucky. And everybody was like, that's fucking gross. That's wrong. You can't do that. And they were like, that's the main part of, that's our number one mitzvah. Nothing else is more important, and it's as important as anything else, and nothing else is more important than that. This is our main thing. It's our main tenet. This is a main commandment. We have to do this. And people were like, well, you got to go. That's fucking nasty. Did they shut off the comments again? Seems like they shut off the comments again. It is the hour mark. But if God made this mistake and put this extra skin with necessary glands and, you know, a completely necessary part of our body, if God didn't want that there, why doesn't God just dinkle, dinkle, dink and change the human design so people aren't born with it? So that children, especially in the United States, who happen to have the largest prison population and a huge rape culture, who's obsessed with penises, why doesn't God just get rid of it? So I guess the comments got shut off from my perspective. Now I have a difficult choice here, right? The feed is at 54 viewers. Why would I want to end a feed that has 54 viewers? However, from my perspective, I can't see the comments. So that eliminates me being able to call out the stupidity that comes my way. It's really a fucked up thing. And I challenge you, like, how many other people have you ever heard say this? Holy shit, the comments, they stopped coming through. You could still make comments, you could still see other people's comments, but they couldn't see it. I guarantee none of you have ever seen that before. The last comment I can see is Simon saying, anyway, submarines exist. Nah. If I'm wrong, then why does weird shit only that doesn't happen anywhere else happen on my feed? And it's not in a way that like boosts the feed. It's in a weird way to make it so we quit on each other, right? So you get upset with me because I'm not responding to what you're saying. What an asshole. He keeps asking people to say something, but then he doesn't respond. I'm on here trying to tell you I support you. Why aren't you responding? It's psychological warfare. Because they can't best me in the comments. You know, they can't. Nobody in the comments is ever going to say anything that makes me look stupid. That I'm like, oh shit, I hadn't thought about that. I guess I'm wrong. They can't. There is no arguing what I'm saying. You're not going to argue, you know, for pedophilia and succeed. You're not going to argue for the genocide and succeed. You're not going to argue that I'm just a dumb goyim. We're just dumb goyim. We're just the goyim. We're just goyim, so, you know, we have to have our chosen masters. You're not going to argue that point. I'm not going to believe that I need some goofy Jay to tell me how to live my life. And I definitely not going to believe that somehow they're born superior over the rest of us and I should just submit. What the hell are you giving this to me for? You can walk right over here, can't you? Shush. It's funny how, like, at this point, I'm so used to the comments getting shut off that it's not, like, as big a deal for me. But if I think about it from your perspective, most of you probably are saying, you know, you're not believing it. You think I'm lying or something. Why? Because you haven't seen it anywhere else. You've never seen anybody else say these things. And that should wake you up to something. You should see something. I mean, I don't, you know, I can't necessarily tell you how to think, but I can present you with evidence one way or another. And that's up to you on how you choose to view the evidence. Like, share, sub. Don't forget to like, share, sub. If you haven't seen this before, if you've never seen anybody say, holy shit, the comment section got shut off again, then like and share the fucking feed. If you have seen it, then make sure you smash that dislike. Smash it. Such a funny thing to me how so many people say the same fucking thing. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Smash it. And like certain phrases, certain things catch on. I always wonder how that works. And actually, the more you look into it, the more you realize they're doing it. Through efforts like Team Jorge, through efforts like act.il, they are able to manipulate the social consciousness so much that they can, they can create and destroy whatever they feel like doing. No, somebody's gonna cry, right? Let's cry. So I'm real big on evidence. unproof. If you make some sort of claim, you believe something or another, there should be proof, right? So, I'm going to start by showing you a video. You know what? Actually, let's continue this. I don't want to keep going down this direction. I want to continue down this other direction. So, especially since there's no interference anymore. So it'll be easier to stay on topic. And I guess before I do that, I should show you this, because this justifies what I'm doing. So this is the IsraelNationalNews.com, and the guy speaking is Naftali Bennett. At the time, in 2010, he is the future Prime Minister of Israel. Currently, he's a former Prime Minister of Israel. But at the time, he was just an Israeli, like a high-level Israeli agent, a Mossad member, Israel's secret service. He's that guy. He's very, very high-ranking Israeli military. So that's who this is that's about to speak.
Moetzet Yesh, in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
So, you get that? So this is the high-ranking Israeli member, Prime Minister, blah, 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 telling the world, essentially, that Israel controls Wikipedia, the #1 source of information, where Israel sent their goons to teach. They were the #1 source of information at the time. So they already they needed to be taught how to edit. And I suggest you look up the Gaza flotilla, where you'll get their balanced Zionist perspective on things. So, when I use Wikipedia as my main source of information, you understand that it's because I want to read what they want us to read. Going to the conspiracy realm and going to who knows what says this or that. Like that leaves too much open, right? You can hide behind whatever if I tell you Alex Jones said it. Who's a fucking piece of shit shill, by the way. Everybody has their opinion on that. But when it comes to Wikipedia, like, it's the encyclopedia. It's the #1 source of information in the world. Not saying that it's 100% true, but it is the truth that Israel wants us to know. And, I know people will say, anybody can edit Wikipedia. No, they can't. Anybody can suggest an edit sometimes. Sometimes you can suggest edits. Sometimes the page is completely locked and there is no suggesting edits. But sometimes you can suggest an edit. It's then sent to those same Wikipedia editors who decide whether what you've said is balanced and Zionist or not. If it is, then they allow it to stay. If it's not, then they get rid of it. Right? And if anybody could just edit Wikipedia, they could destroy Wikipedia. They could just go onto Wikipedia articles, click edit, click select all, click delete, click save, and then jump to the next page and just do that over and over again until they get caught. And that would wreak havoc on Wikipedia. So yes, in some cases, you have the opportunity to suggest an edit. Doesn't mean you can just edit Wikipedia. So I'm using that source because that's where they want us to get our information from. There is no hiding and saying, oh, this has an anti-Israel perspective. Like, especially when I'm reading about Israel or J stuff, I want to read the source that they give me. I don't want them to be able to hide behind their typical, that's anti-Semitic kind of bullshit. Anti-Semitism. You can't do that. This is what they want us to know. So we had gotten to Satmar, which I tend to believe that Judaism was created. So in this regard, it's almost like there are two different sides of things. You're either on the side of, you want to be able to explain buildings and shit. I was thinking about this today. I saw this video where somebody said they were doing a 9/11 video, and they were talking about how planes slammed into the most solid building, brought down the most solid buildings ever created. The most solid skyscraper ever created. And I was thinking, maybe it's when you look at the fact that early on the Empire State Building was hit by a plane and it didn't fall. And some of these skyscrapers that are everywhere, these cathedrals that are everywhere, I mean, some of them are hundreds, thousands year old. Skyscrapers all over whatever downtown you live in are from 1850s and shit on. And they're not falling apart. They're in basically pristine condition. All they would need is a good cleaning and they would look brand new again. So it kind of makes you think, like, it definitely leads, wow, I'm just stumbling all into this, but it shows you that it was much more than a fire in Chicago that turned the city to rubble. And what I always notice with those old buildings, those old photos, is like, 3 of the walls will be knocked down, and yet one of the walls will still be standing 4 or 5 stories high. That doesn't happen with today's structures. Those structures were so fucking well built that if you knock down 4 sides, one side will still stay up. So the idea of these ancient fire scenarios, and these exist throughout all this. I need to talk to my lunch break. I need to talk to Lucius Aurelian. I need to talk to some of these guys, these mind unveiled guys, because this is a huge thing. I just realized this. 9/11 is a huge Tartaria proof. It's just, you got to just put the pieces together. Again, a plane hit the Empire State Building and did virtually nothing to it. So this fire story narrative is just, it's non-existent. It's bullshit. There absolutely were bombs, and they were bigger bombs than we even think. So again, you have to be in that thought process where you're either somebody that clearly thinks a reset happened, or you're somebody that doesn't, and you just go, yeah, cathedrals and castles and skyscrapers and pyramids and Machu Picchu's and all these other things. We don't know how they did. Slaves built it. Prisoners built it. Yeah. The Erie Canal, the Panama Canal. Yeah, it was just done. They just did it. This is how it works. They were just amazing back then. You're either in that boat or you're somebody that like questions things. It's really simple. One of the things that I never see people talking about either is how in all of like the old world footage, it's always, they always look like it's cold. They're always dressed, multiple layers, top hats, pants, long sleeves, long shirts, jackets, vests. No sweat stains. It doesn't matter what photo it is, 'cause it always, I mean, there can be leaves on the trees and they still look like it's cold.
Look at him. Really went to get up. Also,
Stop being a wuss.
I hurt so bad.
Stop being a wuss. Sounds like exactly what happened to me. Don't take my lighter.
Where's the other?
Dead.
Don't get old.
Huh?
Don't get old.
I'm not. I'm a spring chicken, man. I never have any aches or pains. I think I'm really onto something. You know what? I am going to reset because I want to hear comments on this. So I'm going to give up this good feed so I can hear from you guys. So hopefully you come back. Go check out the links in the description if you got to go. Grab your free download. Go watch Hollywoodism. Check out the Facebook videos. And pedophiles, you kill yourself.